Welcome back inside Turner Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. It's volleyball time again. Game 3, match 3 of the evening. It'll be match 2 for Lynchburg and LaGrange, the Panthers in town. Hello again, volleyball fans. It's Kyle Haney hanging out with you. And my colleague for the final game tonight is Ethan Maratsky. Mr. Maratsky, you went from behind the controls over there as our producer and director, now with a headset on, and we're going to have so much fun. And we've got a lot of talking points and storylines, Mr. Maratsky.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've been working with you for over a year now, and I've never been able to get behind the mic with you. And I'm super excited. I got a big smile on my face. It's going to be a fantastic game. Hopefully Lynchburg can bounce back. I know both these teams are trying to, as they both have taken a loss today. I mean, it's going to be a fantastic game. Lynchburg, they're on a 4-game losing streak. It is definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do to bounce back and see what can happen today.
Yeah, it's a Lynchburg team that won 4 out of their first 5 to start the year, but unfortunately now they don't have a victory since September the 3rd. It is 4 losses in a row. I still think the confidence is high. I guess that remains to be seen as the night goes on. Both these teams are coming off a loss already today to the same squad. William Peace out of here from Lynchburg with results they really wanted. They beat the home team in our first game and then took down LaGrange just a few moments ago. Both 4 setters there, Ethan. So again, more to talk about. Both these teams are looking for a bounce back. Lynchburg 4-5 on the season, LaGrange 3-3. So there's a lot to play for. Still early in the year, of course, but starting to learn more about these squads. And what have you been learning? You've seen the same amount of games in person than I have now. You were here on Wednesday night. Give us some of your early impressions of the Lynchburg Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really hot start. I believe we started 3-1 on the season. And, I mean, it's a tough 4-game losing streak, but I mean, I feel like the thing that you can take away from this is it's the beginning of the season. They've had 1 conference game, and they played their hearts out on Wednesday in a Code Red game that was an absolute blast to work. I wasn't behind the mic, but I was directing, and it was so fun. I mean, it was always, you know, all the teams were definitely hype the entire time. It was a tough loss, but, I mean, you love to see all the people that were out here. I mean, when we're talking about William Peace, I mean, they were all around a good team. I mean, they beat both these teams tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see how we bounce back, how, you know, a new coaching staff down there for Lynchburg. Definitely going to be interesting to see what happens bouncing back today.
Yeah, I think Kevin Cardoza in his first season, obviously he didn't plan on ever losing 4 straight games in a row, but he's realistic. He knew that was possible, and you know, as a coach, there's going to be ups and downs. It's not his first rodeo. It is as a head coach, but he's definitely coached a lot of volleyball. Specifically for Lynchburg last game, they lose the first 2 sets. They win set 3 against William Peace in pretty convincing fashion, and then lose a close one in set 4. Lynchburg didn't play bad. We can run down the numbers, Ethan, but what stood out to you in game 1 today for Lynchburg? We saw some new faces. I think that impressed both of us.
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to my mind when I was watching the first game is that we need to work on getting leads and keeping them. We definitely, you know, I always use the term stepping on the gas pedal instead of stepping off. I mean, just kind of not letting teams have a chance to come back. We saw it on Wednesday against Randolph-Macon in the first set. I mean, we went up big against them, and it just ended up obviously not going our way. And we also saw it against William Peace in a couple of sets. And then, like you said, using the bench really well. I mean, Landon Spots and Kara Taylor definitely getting a lot of time against William Peace. And they definitely impressed. I mean, I was very, very excited about how they played and how they're going to play in the future. And, I mean, just something that definitely helps with depth throughout these long matches. I mean, especially because we played so many 5-set matches and 4-set matches. And having just, again, like depth coming in. And then, you know, maybe the next step that they take is finding the chemistry that they need on the court with all the different mixes of players that they have.
Yeah, Kara Taylor actually had not played in a game up to this point. She's a sophomore transfer, and she picked up 13 assists and a couple aces in that first game, the loss to William Peace. You mentioned Landon Spot. She had 4 kills. Nice to see more activity from her. For LaGrange, their big gun was Ella Kahakina. I think we're getting the last name right there. Number 23, Ella Kahakina. She's going to be a one-woman army out there. 9 kills against William Peace. She had 3 assists, 7 digs. And she is seemingly impressing everybody in the gym. LaGrange to serve first black jersey with red trim. Lynchburg's in the home whites. Little tip from Bree Spainhour up front, and there's point number 1 for Lynchburg. Bree Spainhour led Lynchburg with 14 kills earlier this afternoon against William Peace. So look for Bree Spainhour to pick up right where she left off. Early indications are good.
Yeah, it's always amazing watching Bree Spainhour play. You know, two-sport athlete. You know, it's something that you don't see every day. You know, and you know there are plenty of high school athletes that play two sports all the time. But I mean, watching Bree Spainhour, the athleticism that she brings to both the women's basketball team and the women's volleyball team is outstanding.
Yeah, I think I counted it up Wednesday. It's like 110 games now in a Hornet jersey between the two sports. And she's just a junior. I mean, it's just, she could potentially get 200 games between the two sports here before it's all said and done. There's a swing from Ava Meinhardt that went wide left. The lead is 2-1 now. First one of the match for LaGrange. LaGrange, mentioned it again, they lost in 4 sets to William Peace. They actually won set number 1, Ethan, 25-17. But then William Peace really put their foot on the gas, and the next 3 sets weren't that close for LaGrange, so we'll see how they can bounce back.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, LaGrange came out with just an amazing amount of energy, and they're doing it this game too, but it was just convincingly they won the first set, and then it kind of just, I don't want to say fell apart. You never want to say a team fell apart, but I mean, they obviously didn't have a good last 3 sets and unfortunately lost to William Peace. I mean, with talking about the energy, it's going to be interesting to see what Lynchburg does, see how they're going to try and match them.
Yeah, you talked about the energy. I think we were both impressed by that. Watch out. Speaking of impressive, Ava Meinhardt, back-to-back aces. The A is for ace in this case. And Ava's got back-to-back off the top of the deck, 4-2. Lynchburg doubling up LaGrange. Yeah, you and I were just commenting in between matches about LaGrange. They were bringing that energy. We were down there hanging out in front of their bench. And it is impressive. I mean, you and I both pointed out it's a little bit unique to volleyball, the amount of energy. I mean, you see both teams, the players just stand the whole time. The players that are on the bench, it shouldn't even be a bench because they're not sitting down. Occasionally, when somebody comes out, they'll go sit down to rest the legs a bit. But for the most part, everybody just remains standing. And like I said, kind of unique to the sport of volleyball. Bree Spainhour putting the hammer down. She's got a couple early terminations. Lynchburg leading 5-3.
Yeah, no, it's always nice. We were talking about this before the game started. It's always nice when you come to a stadium and you're a parent or a student or just another athlete coming to enjoy a game of volleyball. And it's like I said earlier, it's nice seeing your team is all hyped up, even when they're down. They could be up a couple points or they could be down a couple points. It's always nice to come in here and see your team is as hyped as you are.
Kara Taylor's serve is long for Lynchburg. So we saw great things from Kara Taylor off the bench. She was not in the original rotation for Lynchburg, but seems to be in there pretty early in set 1 against LaGrange. This is game 2 of 4 in a 24-hour period for Lynchburg. 2 more tomorrow, 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. scheduled. Of course, we thought this game was going to happen at 7, or at least it was on the books for 7. Ethan, I don't know if any of us actually thought we would start this one at 7, but we're only an hour late, which is not terrible. Nice recovery there by LaGrange. Dug one out of the net. Lynchburg's going to try to get organized. That ball hit off of Morgan Clark. Kaylee Keogh couldn't make the move to try to run it down, and our game is now much closer, 6-5. An early back and forth set.
Yeah, something that I've definitely learned watching volleyball, especially, you know, Lynchburg's volleyball team, is that there are so many never give up plays. I mean, anything can happen in this sport, and you just never give up. And especially like with what LaGrange just did a couple points ago, I mean, you got to stay on your toes and you never know what's going to happen. Tori
Williamson went over the blockers to score the 7th point of the set for Lynchburg. It's Morgan Clark to serve. Another in that very robust junior class. There's a healthy amount of juniors on the roster for Lynchburg. There's Ava Meinhardt and Landon Spots teaming up for a block. Lynchburg by 3 now. Landon Spots, another one of those talented juniors. I mean, let's see. Did we add them all up for Lynchburg? It's 9 juniors.
Yeah, I remember.
Go ahead.
Sorry. We were talking about, you know, last year we had 1 senior in Princess Salafu, and now, I mean, this year there's only 1 more senior. We got 2. So, I mean, I remember last year talking about how, you know, experience is always so key, especially when you get later on in the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Lynchburg experience goes. I mean, you said 9 juniors. I mean, that's impressive, and that's a huge class. So it's going to be, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the rest of this season.
Well-placed little teardrop serve there from Morgan Clark. She's getting on a run. 10-5, Lynchburg on top. Clark wearing the red libero jersey. Abby Barlow in the same look. You can run 2 liberos now. There's a shot. Morgan Clark with a fantastic dig. Taylor will set spots. That's in the air. Overpass and then down. Lynchburg got the gift there and made the most of it. Ava Meinhardt and Tori Williamson. All systems go right now early on for Lynchburg, Ethan. This is the start that Coach Cardozo was looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about getting a lead, jumping ahead, and keeping that lead. And it's like I said earlier, I mean, it's really going to depend on if Lynchburg can keep the gas pedal going right here as we get another point in the serving. And, you know, talking about the serving, you look at the last 2 games that Lynchburg's been playing, I mean, we've really been struggling with the serving errors. And so it's nice to see, you know, getting a couple aces in this first set.
Fantastic point by you. It was 11 aces against William Peace, but 10 errors. And for a while, that ratio was inverted. It was 5 aces to 7 errors at one point. So the serving did get better last match for Lynchburg, but I think you're right. That's going to be a key for them going forward. And that's probably one that most volleyball fans would tell you it's going to be a key for everybody. It's almost like in baseball where every coach says, well, we got to throw strikes, we got to play defense. You know, and it's true. It's not that it's not true. It's just it's always going to be true for everybody. Clark is going to bump set Keogh, who'll fly in from the back row. Oh, great dig to get that up. Healthy play there by Emma Campbell for LaGrange. Meinhardt from the middle. Good strong swing. Campbell got that one. Slide play to go to the middle there. Well placed down the line. That was Claire Titus that came over to the right on the move, struck it well. Much needed point for LaGrange. Lynchburg had all the momentum early anyway. We'll see how the Panthers respond. About an 8-hour drive from LaGrange, Georgia to Lynchburg. So not the longest trip a college team will ever make, but it's up there.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of playing LaGrange. I mean, I played baseball here at Lynchburg for 4 years. We played them a couple times. I mean, I think one of the most fun games I've ever been a part of was my freshman year in the regional, you know, playing LaGrange. I mean, they were easily one of the best teams there. We battled out. We had really good pitching. But LaGrange, I mean, they're good at every single sport. So it's always fun watching a team like LaGrange play a team like Lynchburg.
You're right, though. They do seem to athletically be very strong. Another overpass. This time it's Bree Spainauer that will do the dirty work for Lynchburg and punch that one home. Jana Leak serving. Lynchburg leading 14-7. Yeah, we need to dip into your experience, your resume as a member of that national championship baseball team. And, you know, you and I have just talked about Lynchburg played the first game at 3 as they shove another one straight back down. That's Spainauer and Meinhardt. But Lynchburg played earlier. We'll keep it here during this timeout. They lose, and then you got to turn around and play again. And this would happen in baseball. Of course, you guys won more than you lost, but you have those conference doubleheaders every Saturday. If you don't know volleyball fans, it's basically a conference doubleheader in baseball season where you get a long day because you got to be out there early to warm up and take BP. You play a long game, you get a little break in between. And sometimes, I mean, and you can talk about this, it can be difficult to stay focused and difficult when things aren't going your way in that first game to try to turn it around in game 2, isn't it?
Yeah, no, doubleheaders were, I mean, they're always fun because, you know, when you start off the day, you wake up and you're like, well, I got 2 games of baseball to play. And, you know, they're always fun, but like you said, it's keeping your focus throughout, I mean, a solid 10-hour day of baseball. I mean, we would get to the field at around 7 to 8-ish. I mean, and we do about 30, 40 minutes of stretching, and then, you know, you go through your routine. So keeping focus when you're that tired, and, you know, and especially, of course, playing the baseball part, the physicality that you have to go through. It's fun, but it's not easy. And I can only imagine that, I mean, both these teams, this is their second game. I mean, luckily, Lynchburg had a game break. LaGrange is playing back-to-back. I can't even imagine what it's like just constantly moving around because, you know, you look at baseball and there's constant standing around, as people will say.
Right.
I mean, these 6 players on the court, I mean, they're moving around, I mean, doing whatever they can. And it's tiring, I can only imagine.
Yeah, well, and you hear the coaches talk about the jump counts and the swing counts. the same way baseball coaches talk about the pitch count for a pitcher. It is something that as a coach you got to keep your eyes on, especially with 4 games in 2 days. And Coach Cardoza said, you know, there's no firm limit on anybody, but we're just keeping an eye to see what the fitness is like. And you know, we'll talk to the ladies and see what they feel like when they wake up tomorrow morning and we get loose. But you do have to have your options ready in case somebody does tire out a bit. Tori Williamson was off balance there, sort of try to fade away jumper, and it didn't get home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what, like, again, that's what having depth is all about. I mean, you look at the LaGrange team over there. I mean, there's so many, so many girls on that team, and there are a ton of girls on Lynchburg too, and that's really, I mean, the best thing, especially with when you're struggling like this and you're on a 4-game losing streak for Lynchburg, and you have players like Landon Spots that step up and become that depth that you need.
Tori Williamson had a nice run up but got stuffed. Back-to-back points for LaGrange. Yeah, you're right, though. The depth is so important, especially early in the season when you're still trying to find the combinations and find out who's going to give you what. And it's a new team for Coach Kevin Cardoza, so that's an element in there as well. And sometimes that can be a good thing, too. Everybody's got a fresh start with Kevin, and he made that point. You know, he said, look, I inherited a talented team. It's not like the cupboard was bare at all. I see some different things than previous coaches may or may not have seen. Got some different schools of thought on things, but he knew there was talent. He said that was one of the reasons why he wanted to come here and work with this squad. And obviously, you try to recruit more talented players in as you go, and that's part of the battle as well. It's a 16-9 battle. Jana Leak laying out for one nicely. Tori Williamson rolls shot over. LaGrange looks to get the offense going. Slide play again for the middle. Little miss hit. Jana Leak will try the setter dump. Not there. She'll get the favor returned on her there by Rebecca Miranda, the setter for LaGrange. That one's down and in. Excellent placement. Really good rally right there, Ethan. Both squads had some chances. Both squads tried some things. Lynchburg ends up getting a well-fought point.
You know, I mean, and going back to Coach Cardoza, I mean, when you're going through a new coaching staff, I mean, we talk about the losing streak that we're on right now. It's important to, you know, recruit a coach and even players that know how to win, obviously. But I feel like one of the more important things to look for is what a coach does when they're not winning.
So, I mean, so true. Fantastic point you made over the line there on that attempt by Ella Kahakina. But, yeah, you know, call it the mentality or the temperament, whatever you want to call it. I think you're right. You learn a lot about your coach. You learn a lot about your players when things aren't going well. And that's man, I mean, you nailed it. That's your A+ right now. I know you're going to give us more later on, but so far that's the standout to me, man. That's so true. And maybe that's just life, right? That's when you really find out what the character is like in a person, how they react and respond when things aren't going their way.
Yeah, it's always important to have somebody that you're working with that, you know, is a great person to be around when you're having, you know, laughs and you're having fun, but it's important to look for what people are doing when there's no laughs and there's no fun going around and it's like crunch time and we need to get something done here.
Lynchburg trying to keep that one alive. That ball was hit so hard it sort of drove the blockers backwards there. Kaylee Keough and Ava Meinhardt. 19-10, Lynchburg still on top by 9. Fantastic first set right here for Lynchburg. They are 3-1 this season when they win set 1. So obviously you'd like to do that more. Back line, perfect bullseye from Kaylee Keough. Number 17 with the point number 20 of the first set. Lynchburg wins the race to 20. The percentages on the first team getting to 20 are pretty good. We were looking up what the first set win percentage is, or what the overall match win percentage is when you win the first set. We're still going to do more research on that. Lynchburg did a nice job to keep that one up. Ava Meinhardt really scraping the floor with a thin spatula. Slide play again for the middle from LaGrange. That's Haley Redden. She'll score it. And now the Panthers are back within 9.
Yeah, I remember going back to the 20-point comment. I remember listening to you and Evan on Wednesday talk about Tim Waduka and the 20-point. Get to 21st, and you got a good chance at winning.
Big key. Yeah, big key. Leak going to set Keough. Wide right. Looked like Lynchburg might have asked if there was a touch, but there was no touch, and it's an error and a point for LaGrange. You know, and what is the equivalent of that in baseball when you score in the first inning, you know, or something like that? I mean, all the runs count the same, whether they come in the first inning or the ninth inning. It still counts as a run, but there is something to be said for that fast start and being in control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about, obviously, you want to score every single inning and you want to score as many runs as you can every inning. But baseball, I mean, a lot like volleyball, anything can happen. Any team can win on any given day. You know, you look at the Oakland Athletics can beat the New York Yankees any day of the week, and the Yankees are obviously this year's far superior team. But I mean, in regards to baseball, you kind of just want to do what you can and control what you can control. I mean, we saw on Wednesday there was, some people would say, some questionable refereeing. I mean, baseball, there's always, nobody's perfect. You can't really you kind of have to just control what you can control and work on what you can work on and just keep doing your best.
Baseball and volleyball share the thing that there's no clock to run out like there are in some other sports. You have to finish the game. In baseball, you have to get all 9 innings and get the outs. In volleyball, somebody's got to get to 25 or 15 in the 5th set. So whereas those other sports, you can grind out that clock. You can play the waiting game a little bit if you have a lead, but just all part of the fun.
Yeah, especially with football back. It's as much as I love watching football, you know, I was looking at a stat like a couple weeks ago, and I think it's something that there's like 20% of the game is actually being played in between hikes. Right. It might even be less than that.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can't do when you're playing volleyball.
No, there's not as much downtime. And then you get these rallies that'll go on for a minute or two on their own. Nice little deep back set from Taylor, and it worked out. Got it to Spots. Spots found the donut. Really good offensive play there from Lynchburg. Landed Spots' big smile on her face. She liked that one. Nice set by Kara Taylor, you know, to throw it behind herself. She knows Spots is going to be there, but still a lot of talent to make that back set on target. Strong swing right there. Morgan Clark did well just to get her mitts on it, but then it caroms off out of play. It's a 23-14 Lynchburg lead. They're 2 away.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Kara's back pass, it's so incredible to see the amount of trust that these players have in each other. I mean, I'm sure she does know that she's back there, but that's an incredible amount of trust to pass it back and pray that your teammate's going to be there. I mean, it's trust, and that's something that you have to have, and that comes with the chemistry of the team.
And this time she's going to set Ava Meinhardt. Had to go over her shoulder a little bit, sort of go back for the set, but made it work. 6-foot frame from Ava Meinhardt certainly helped right there. 24-14, Lynchburg within 1 now. It'll be Jana Leek to serve. Jana Leek really, I thought, was serving tough in that first match. It's a line drive. It's not a lot of height on it. Just scrapes over the net, and you saw it right there. An ace to win set number 1. Jana Leek does it for Lynchburg. 25-14. Hornets on top. We'll take a breather and get back for set 2 in just a moment. It's the Hill City Classic College Volleyball on LHSN.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves. Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and rope course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Set one goes to the home team Hornets, 25-15. Bree Spainhour leading Lynchburg with 4 kills. Kayla Keough had 3 terminations. Morgan Clark, couple aces. Ava Meinhardt, couple aces. Lynchburg really looked good in that first set. Ethan, it wasn't perfect, but pretty close, and really a nice way to bounce back for Lynchburg. Again, they are playing off 4 consecutive losses, so trying to remedy that and get a victory here. Great start in set 1 versus LaGrange.
Yeah, no, especially with the score of 25-15. I mean, that's best case scenario for a team trying to bounce back, and it's worst case scenario for a team trying to bounce back in LaGrange. And, you know, we were talking about this over the break. I mean, LaGrange does look a little tired because, I mean, playing back-to-back games is not easy. So it's definitely good for Lynchburg to see that they're, you know, they're pounding on that, and they're doing whatever they can to make sure LaGrange stays tired.
Yeah, overall, LaGrange it's a 2-match losing streak now. They played Wednesday, September the 11th, like Lynchburg, lost to Clark Atlanta in 4 sets there. And they lost in 4 sets earlier today. So for LaGrange, yeah, they're looking for some answers. Their head coach is Daniel Schultz in his 2nd season. He's been a head coach at a bunch of places, including Division I Oakland. And Coach Schultz is a volleyball master. He knows what he's doing over there. So we'll see what adjustments LaGrange makes. We'll see if Lynchburg adjusts or if you just keep with what you got going on. They will start with Jana Leak on the service line. And we'll get set for more volleyball here on Wayne Profit Court inside Turner Gymnasium. Make sure you stay up to date with the Lynchburg Hornets. Stay plugged in with all the social media connections. There's an early block up front for Lynchburg. Nice start. And then, of course, lynchburgsports.com is the website for all the scheduling, what have yous, and information. 11 a.m. against the Greensboro Pride in this gym tomorrow, Ethan. And then it's the North Carolina Wesleyan battling Bishops in Game 2. There's 2 more teams that you probably faced a few times in your baseball career. I know you faced North Carolina Wesleyan, of course. I was there for that one a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was the World Series run. That was a lot of fun. They were really good hosts. We weren't expecting for them to host, but I mean, it's a good field, you know, good area, and they did a really good job hosting us.
Jana Leak, how about that? A split 2 defenders. And Jana Leak now with Lynchburg's 3rd point. I always talk about that game she had last year where she got red hot from the service line. I think it was 8 aces against Shenandoah. And serving is a little bit like pitching in a lot of ways, Ethan, because you're the only one that controls it. You're not reacting to anybody else. You're starting it with the serve. And sometimes you just get a feel, you just get wired in, whatever the case may be, and you can get red hot back there from the service line.
Yeah, it's always about just getting locked in and feeling the mojo and doing whatever you can do and letting nothing else around you control what you can control. And so, I mean, it's one thing that you have to think about is you don't want to go up there and think, oh, let me get the next couple serves. I mean, you got to get the first point to get the second point. You can't start thinking about getting 2 points in a row, and you got to get the first one. That's the most important one.
Yeah, that's a great point. Tori Williamson to serve now for Lynchburg. They lead 4-1. It's a nice little sidearm swipe from a high-flying Ava Meinhardt up the middle on the last point for Lynchburg. She'll try for the solo block, couldn't get it. Morgan Clark could not get the dig either. That was a high-volume swing there. You could hear that one, and then the LaGrange bench erupting as well to voice their approval of the play. Panthers serving, number 24, Lucy McCoy. Had an ace against William Peace in game 1. LaGrange against William Peace, their serving numbers were outstanding, Ethan. It was 16 aces to only 5 errors. That was in LaGrange's previous game earlier this evening. Those are numbers that any coach would love from a serving perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at Lynchburg with the amount of error, and I say that, you know, they haven't had a ton, but, you know, with the errors that they've been dealing with, like that one right there, you know, you kind of just have to find a way that you can bounce back and, you know, play some good defense and switch it up with some players, you know, and just kind of basically do what you can do to find a way to go on a run or stop a run from happening.
And that's one of those errors that, as a coach, you may not hate if you're trying to serve tough and hit that line like it looked like Ava Meinhardt was trying to do. Then you might be okay if you just missed the target by a foot or so. There was a big swing in the middle for Lynchburg. Leah DiNardo in there, the fantastic freshman in the middle. Landon Spots back to the front row. She'll join DiNardo and Kaylee Keogh. In the back for Lynchburg, it's Kara Taylor setting, serving. And then also Morgan Clark, the libero, Tori Williamson. There's a serve that's in for Taylor. Another ace for Lynchburg. So we are seeing the serving be a weapon for Lynchburg. We know that side of the coin. It's just, can you stay clean enough and limit enough of the errors to make you happy and make you competitive. Taylor couldn't dig that one out. Strong swing from, I believe, number 22, Murphy Boyette. Murphy Boyette with a handful on that one. For LaGrange, their kills were pretty much equitably distributed and still are. It's the first one of the match for Boyette. High bump set to Keogh. She'll push it down the near side line. Oh, and then a little miscommunication will lead to a Lynchburg point.
I think that's one of the other things, you know, being a new person that's been watching volleyball, is the amount of talking and communication that goes into it. I mean, it's constant. I mean, you know, you hear the cheering in the background, but it's really the players, you know, yelling at each other, letting you know where they're at, you know, letting you know what they could do at any point. I mean, it's fantastic to hear it.
It is. Oh, in the corner, perfect placement from Landon Spots. She is having a bit of a coming out party right here, Landon Spots. And of course, she's got a baseball connection. Her father is the head coach at Bridgewater. One of the all-time best in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Coached at a couple places. Taylor tried to go way upstairs to take that one out of the air, and then it dropped in over her for a LaGrange point.
Yeah, Coach Spots over at Bridgewater, he's a great guy. You know, obviously, you know, here at Fox Field, we're down the third baseline, so you know we like to talk to the coach, whether it's heckling or just having a nice conversation.
That's
with
right.
them. And Coach Spots is always a guy that would just always, he's a nice guy, and he's a really good coach too. I mean, he's doing a fantastic job at Bridgewater, you know, with everything that he's been given to work with. So he's a great coach.
Yeah, he actually won a ODAC Coach of the Year award when he was at Eastern Mennonite. So he could potentially do that again at 2 different schools in the same conference. Strong serve from Morgan Clark, but too strong. Lynchburg still in control at the moment, 10-6. Yeah, but it's fascinating when you start looking at some of those connections. And of course, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference is so fascinating and interesting with the rivalries and the connections, and some of those things kind of blur the lines. You know, sometimes it's a friendly rivalry, and it is a lot of fun. And then you start diving into the history and learning more, and you can just go crazy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember playing with my brother 4 years ago when he was at Randolph-Macon, and it's something that we would never have the opportunity to do if COVID never happened, and it was a dream come true. I mean, I played with him that summer, and then I played against him, and it was amazing. I can't explain how awesome it was.
10-7, Lynchburg by 3. It again has felt like the Hornets have been in control this entire match. That can change at any moment. Taylor, the setter, had to run that one down, and then Tori Williamson tried to bang it with the platform from waist height. That went into the net. So here you go. I said it felt like Lynchburg had been in control. Some of that control is starting to slip away as LaGrange is clawing it closer. LaGrange is going to stick around the Hill City and play some at Randolph tomorrow, Ethan. So they'll have a busy 2 days of volleyball. Nice dig there. Yeah, you can see that LaGrange is playing with more energy and spirit. Setter attack from Taylor. That got scooped up. Tip there. Spots to Taylor. To Williamson down the line. Handled. Bump set. Back row attack. Meinhardt with the solo slam down for a point. And maybe that will restore some order to the contest for Lynchburg.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of volleyball being played here in the last couple days for every squad that's been here. So, I mean, we love it, and I'm sure they love it, but it's definitely tiring for them.
Lynchburg right now in set 2, swinging it at 5:45, 6 kills, no attacking errors just yet. They've been great from the service line with 2 aces in this set as well. Morgan Clark might have played an out ball. Meinhardt touched the net, it looked like, and that'll be a point for LaGrange. Lynchburg in the white on the left side of your screen. LaGrange has got the black and red. The Panthers taking the 8-hour drive from LaGrange, Georgia. Leak. She'll set Bree Spainhour. She got a handful. Can just absolutely rip a volleyball. We've got so much talent on this Lynchburg team offensively. As far as the athleticism, the skill, the volleyball IQ, and then you throw it in the mix and see what the stew tastes like. It's pretty tasty right now for Lynchburg, leading 12-9, and they're up 1-0 over LaGrange. Here's a good set to the middle. Jana Leak was on the prowl for that one. Tori Williamson, love the aggressiveness there from the back row, just hit it into the net.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I enjoy watching from this Lynchburg squad is and it's the same with the LaGrange squad, is they're not afraid to get down and dirty. I mean, it's hard to get dirty on a hardwood floor, but they're not afraid to dive for every single ball. It doesn't matter how far away it is or how close it is.
Scrappy, tough. Jana Leak, soft touch over the top. LaGrange got it back. Lynchburg's going to get in system. Look to rip right here. Meinhardt got a handful, but it's taken away. Ball is long. Good read by Tori Williamson. Tracked that well with the eyes, and you could see how she kept moving with it, Ethan, in case she had to make a late decision, but the call to let it go was the right one, and Lynchburg leads by 3. Going to get to see our first look at Cassie Blackmore, another in that junior squad. She'll enter into the back row.
Yeah, it's like every time somebody subs in, you hear junior or sophomore. I mean, it's insane the amount of depth that this squad has and the amount of promise that this squad has for the next couple of years and even this year.
Yeah, and that's a difficult balance, too, as Lynchburg's going to pick up another point, and maybe a slight misplay from Murphy Boyette. But that's a balance because you want to stay positive about the future. You want to talk about future success, but you also have to remember this year and try to, again, the cliche, one game at a time, one play at a time, but it's valid.
Yeah, that was something that was harped over us during our baseball season is, you can play a tough opponent in a couple days, but you'll have a game that you're playing that day, and you just have to, you got to worry about that game. You can't, like if we would play Shenandoah on a Saturday, we'd have to play I'm not going to say any other teams, but we'd have to play a team on Wednesday. You have to worry about that game on Wednesday before you go play out on Saturday.
Subs coming in for Lynchburg. Spots back in. She'll step up at the front row with Leah DiNardo, Kaylee Keough. Lynchburg, the trio in the back is Kara Taylor, Morgan Clark, and Cassie Blackmore. Blackmore tried to throw the right arm out at one. The number 2 couldn't get there. So LaGrange, again, you think you can hear probably on the broadcast the chanting and the songs and the just this overall spirit and passion that their bench brings.
Can't hear it, you can definitely see it.
Yeah, exactly. Kaylee Keough on target, another bullseye from number 17. 16-12, Lynchburg on top. Kaylee Keough should be kill number 5 of the set. It is. Again, a healthy balance for Lynchburg this set. Bree Spainauer, 6 terminations. Kaylee Keough, 5. Ava Meinhardt has 3, and then looks like Landon Spots with 3 as well. Leah DiNardo's got a couple. It's a well-distributed offensive machine. Free ball from Morgan Clark. See if LaGrange can take advantage through the block, but Taylor's there. That won't stay in bounds, though, and it is a Panther point.
You know, we're talking about the offense that Lynchburg has with all these players, but I mean, you got to talk about the defense too. I mean, you look at Abby Barlow with what happened, you know, in the first game today, where, you know, she's wearing the red libero shirt, she took it off, put the white shirt on, and they were basically playing with 2 defensive specialists out there for the defense.
No, fantastic observation by you. And back to that depth, man. Leah DiNardo just took a massive swing right there. Give LaGrange some credit for getting that back up. Let's see if they set her again. Tori Williamson instead, but it'll get down and work for Lynchburg. But, yeah, back to that depth. It gives Coach Cardoza options. He can go with a defensive-heavy lineup. He can go with a bigger lineup. He can go with more pure hitters. He can really do some things that can make this Lynchburg team dangerous. We're seeing that right now as the Hornets lead 17-13. Let's take a pause here for this one. A 60-second breather as the Hornets are on top against LaGrange in match 3 of the evening. We're getting the Hill City Classic started on LHSN. Set 2 action between Lynchburg and LaGrange. The Hornets on top 17-13. I am Kyle Haney. Ethan Maratsky. A lot of times the nickname just becomes Ski. I feel like 90% of your friends, they just say Ski, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's probably other, I don't really count my teachers in this, but I want to say that other than my friends, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 people on this campus that call me by my first name. And I got really lucky because growing up, you know, I had 3 older brothers, so everybody went through that name. And I'm lucky enough to have it now. I mean, of course, my brothers still get called that sometimes, but, you know, I got lucky enough to have it called here for 4 years, and now this will be a 5th year, so.
Wow, big, strong bash from Ava Meinhardt. That one's down. Even if LaGrange had a player, how are you getting that back up? That was struck so well. Nyla Johnson was serving for LaGrange. She had an interesting play while we were talking where she snuck a little bump set over the net and found an open spot. But Lynchburg back up 4 with Jana Leak serving. Bree Spainauer back in there. Strong front row. Really, it's just a very strong 6. How about the block there? Ava Meinhardt and Bree Spainauer. Tall wall. Got to have more to get over that. 19-14, Lynchburg by 5.
Yeah, it's funny you know, when I look at this team, and I want to say 95% of them are all taller than me.
Good serve again from Jana Leak. Leak will step up to set Bree Spainauer. Nice job by Johnson to pick that up. Free ball coming. Let's see who Lynchburg goes to this time. Leak got Williamson on the front side. That trickles over the net. Lynchburg point. Yes. 2014, Lynchburg won that race to 20 again. On top by 6 here in set 2. This would be big for the confidence. I keep saying that the confidence is high for Lynchburg, but you can't escape the fact that they have lost 4 matches in a row. So no matter how confident you are, might take a hit. Another block. Tori Williamson Ava Meinhardt walled up there on the front row. Lynchburg blocking much better in this match as well, Ethan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, going back to the confidence, I mean, it's doing whatever you can to get out of that slump. And, I mean, that is really what separates a good team from a great team, is when you get into a slump, like teams are most likely going to do at some point, whether it's a big one or a small one. I mean, that's what separates good teams from great teams. You know, it's just being able to find a way to get out of that slump.
Yeah, the great teams seem to get out of them quicker than the other teams. They don't linger. Little short delay in the action with Jana Leek serving. This will tell you something about the Lynchburg blocking against William Peace. They had 4 blocks total as Jana Leek will just peel off another hard one to the corner there for an ace. But Lynchburg had 4 team blocks against William Peace. They're already up to 7 in 2 sets here against LaGrange. So the blocking is better. The stats confirm that. Jana Leek will try another dangerous serve. This one not quite high enough. See, that's one I think Coach Cardozo is okay with, right? Because Leek just got 1 ace. You know she's got the pressure applied to LaGrange, so I think you're okay with her taking a bit of a chance right there, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with the lead that we have, I don't think one error is going to cause too much pain to the score of your team, and maybe, you know, having the rest of your teammates pick you up and try and get you the point after, and just basically, again, pick you up from the error that you had.
Number 23, Ella Kahakina, driving that one right through the block. She took on 2 pretty stingy defenders up front there. Kahakina was the one who really stuffed the stat sheet against William Peace earlier. My goodness, that was straight down and just pinned to the floor. I mean, check the volleyball for a dent. Ava Meinhardt's going to take the air right out of it. I think even she surprised herself with that one. Absolutely cranked.
Yeah, that was a beautiful team play from Lynchburg. I mean, it started with an amazing dig and a great setup, just into an amazing kill right there.
Set point here for Lynchburg, and really can take command. See how long LaGrange can stave it off. Ooh, that hit the line judge, so that means it's out, and that's how Lynchburg's going to win set number 2. Really comprehensive fashion right there for the Lynchburg Hornets. They are rolling now, 25-16, looking to go to the broom closet and complete the sweep. We're coming back for set 3 in just a moment on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education. Come see our campus for yourself.
Get small classes, nationally recognized mentoring and advising, and a community that has your back every step of the way at the University of Lynchburg.
My name's Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice.
A full afternoon and evening of volleyball could be culminating here as Lynchburg leads LaGrange 2-0. I'm Kyle. Ethan Maratsky, my colleague in this one. And Ski, you're going to be doing everything for LHSN this year, under the headset, behind the camera, on the controls, every part of the operation. Ethan Maratsky will have down by the end of the year. But impressions, I mean, first 2 sets. This is what we thought Lynchburg was capable of. We knew they needed a bounce back. We wondered how they would bounce back from the previous loss earlier today to William Peace. We're getting our answers. It's a really good start for the Hornets. Job's not done yet, but this is what you wanted to see.
Yeah, no, as long as they keep playing hard and keep playing smart, I think they have a very high chance of winning this entire match in game 3, or set 3, excuse me. I mean, we were talking about this over the break, and I mean, we look really well. This is definitely the type of game you want to be playing to bounce back, whether that be because LaGrange is tired or Lynchburg is playing really well in itself. I mean, we look fantastic.
Meinhardt got the first swing, and then somebody was in the net for Lynchburg, so the first point of the set will go to LaGrange. Yeah, Lynchburg comes into the match at 4-5. This is match 10 of 30 this season, so a third of the way through the year, believe it or not, after tonight, and then 2 more tomorrow. There's Ava Meinhardt that time, just shoveling that one right by a would-be defender, and now we're tied 1-1. But it's an interesting season in the fact that, you know, you start it and you got 30 games, it feels like a long haul, but all of a sudden we're not even into mid-September yet, and you're a third of the way through the year. October is obviously going to be very busy for Lynchburg and all the other ODAC volleyball teams.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you said we were a third of the way through the season?
After tonight, they will be, yes.
And we had our first home game on Wednesday?
Right, exactly, yeah. Kind of blows your mind, doesn't it?
I feel like that's probably a good thing for us, you know. It means we have to have a good stretch of home games towards the end of the season, hopefully.
Very true, very true. Brees Spainhour climbing the ladder to stuff one down. Yeah, Lynchburg, let's just browse at the schedule since we're talking about it here. It is, of course, 2 more home games tomorrow. Greensboro at 11 a.m. And then it will be North Carolina Wesleyan at 1 p.m., tentatively anyway. So Lynchburg after that, September 18th, that's Wednesday of next week. They travel to Bridgewater, who we've talked about a little bit, on the road up to Winchester on Saturday, September 21st, to take on the Shenandoah Hornets. And then I believe back at home on September 25th against Randolph, the crosstown rival. So yeah, there's a good home game, and definitely one you should circle on your calendar if you can make it inside Turner. Should be a nice rowdy crowd for that one as well. Not going to say it's going to be as big as the Code Red crowd, Ethan, just because that was epic.
Yeah, Code Red games here are definitely something else. I mean, you never want to miss a Code Red game. I mean, the energy, the aura, as people would say nowadays, is just it's through the roof. And I mean, it sounds like it's through the roof too.
Yes, it was giving major vibes. There's a serve that's going to just trickle over the tape. A little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. It goes LaGrange's way, and we're tied 3-3. I'm sure the Panthers are going to have plenty of fight here in set 3. They're not just going to go away willingly. Lynchburg, I think, would get even more momentum and confidence if they could complete the sweep. Plenty of work to be done. Cassie Blackmore is in the back row. That was Jana Leak that took that one. Clark will set Keogh. Scooped up, no problem. Here's a swing from the outside for LaGrange. Somebody was in the net, and it was somebody from LaGrange. Point for Lynchburg. They'll call 4 touches there, but either way, the Hornets get a much-needed point to seize the lead. Leah DiNardo checking in.
I think getting a sweep, obviously it's fun for the team and it's really relieving. I think one of the more important things that people don't look at is for the coaching. I mean, when you're up 2 sets, and I mean, if we were to take a lead here, even if we don't, you can play other players that don't get too much playing time, and it just allows the coaching staff to see more from your players. And like with what happened with Landon Spots and Kara in the first game today, it gives you an opportunity to see, the ins and outs of your depth, like we've always been saying tonight.
Blackmore will cover a Spainhour attempt that got blocked. Lynchburg plays on. Good rally developing here. Let's see how long it lasts. Oh, bump set just trickling over the tape there. It was number 9, Nyla Johnson again. I don't think she intended, I beg your pardon, Zentrina Choice, number 8 there for LaGrange. I don't think Zentrina Choice really designed for that ball to just barely hit the tape and then leak over, but it worked out for LaGrange again. Panthers have a 1-point lead. Big stuff in the middle there. Choice was in on that one. Back-to-back points for the Panthers.
Yeah, you take whatever point you can get, and especially when you're down 2 sets. I mean, you got to do whatever you can to get back into a game, and it's kind of like what we've been talking about with, losing streaks that both these teams have. You take whatever you can get, and you try and do whatever you can to win.
Well, I love what you said about the depth and how Lynchburg, when you're up 2 sets, you have the ability to tinker a little bit and try some things and experiment. We'll keep talking through the timeout here with LaGrange leading 7-4. If you're LaGrange, you maybe can't quite be as choosy about who you go to. Now, we've seen the Panthers in both these matches tonight really use the bench play. So they haven't been shy about running a big rotation and trying some different people in the first place. But for Lynchburg, it could be a chance to do that. You can see that Coach Kevin Cardoza's really trying to win set 3 here because he took the timeout. Could have just let the team try to figure it out on their own, but did want to stop things with Lynchburg now down 3. And basically the first time in the match against LaGrange, including sets 1 and 2, that Lynchburg has been down in this one, Ethan. What do you think the conversation is like in the timeout huddle over there for the Hornets?
I feel like Coach Cardoza, I mean, obviously you want to win every set, but you don't, like I said at the beginning of the game, you want to step on the gas pedal. You don't want to let them breathe. Don't step off the gas pedal. You have to do whatever you can to keep going, keep the momentum going, and if you lose momentum, you got to find a way to gain that momentum back. And pretty much that, I mean, I assume that's what they're talking about. It could be positioning, it could be really anything. I mean, there's so much that goes into every single play here.
6 coming back out for Lynchburg include Kaylee Keogh, Cassie Blackmore, Morgan Clark, Leah DiNardo, Bree Spainhour, and Jana Leak. LaGrange serving and leading by 3 after the timeout. We are in set 3. Lynchburg has won the first 2. Kaylee Keogh, big strong hit, but it goes, there was a touch. There was a touch up front. Believe the ball was out of play, but the officials ruled touch, and so that is a Lynchburg point. Good eyesight there by the refs. In the D1 game, you've got a coach's challenge or 2, and you can use the old instant replay, and a lot of times the coaches will use the replay to determine whether there was a touch or a no touch on a ball like that. A good job by the officials to get right on it. And now Lynchburg with a chance to get that momentum back. Clark, that was tight to the net, but no problem for Lynchburg. Taylor to DiNardo for a big stuff.
Yeah, that was a beautiful setup. And we've been saying Leah DiNardo's name a lot the past couple days, and it's something that is very exciting. I mean, her being a freshman here at Lynchburg, I mean, hopefully, we keep saying her name for the next couple of years.
Cassie Blackmore laid out, but couldn't slide the paintbrush under that one. 8-6 LaGrange. Yet DiNardo, a freshman, and really the freshman that we've seen the most from so far, but back to the talented options that are there. And I'm sure we'll be learning more and more names as this season goes on and as their careers go on. Leah DiNardo is one that Ryan Turner, the assistant coach, and myself were talking about. He thinks her talent is just almost limitless, just as far as her athleticism. And then Coach Turner was talking about how the work ethic is there for DiNardo, so that's one of the reasons why he thinks she is really just going to take off in her time here on Lakeside Drive. And that's contagious too, and you know this from your playing days. When you got a player or a group of players that's really getting after it, it does sort of encourage and inspire the rest of the team to follow suit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everything in baseball is contagious, and it seems like it's the same thing in volleyball. I mean, aces are contagious, kills are contagious, digs are contagious. You see one player doing it, and you could be on the bench and you're saying, I want to be able to do that, or I want to go out there and do that, like Coach put me in, you know? It's inspiring.
Kahakina serving. She's got a good one. She's going to have to roll this one over from near the back. Good strong swing. Lynchburg blocked it, though. Taylor shoving teammates out of the way so she can go set on the other side, but that one is too strong from, I believe, Jamie Smith, a freshman who has checked in for Lynchburg. Let's see if we can confirm that. I think that's right. Number 20, Jamie Smith, who is a freshman from Forest Grove, Oregon. I mean, we got players coming in from the West Coast, Ski. That's exciting to talk about Jamie Smith from Oregon.
Yeah, it's always nice having that diversity of where players can come from. I mean, you look at Ella Kahikini. I mean, she's from Tampa Bay, Florida. I mean, that's not a close trip.
Yeah. Kaylee Keogh will get credit for a termination there. Tori Williamson checking back in the match. Keogh to serve for Lynchburg. Kaylee Keogh, that talented junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. Speaking of the geography, a little bit closer than Oregon and Tampa, Florida. Good knock up front, good defense. And really, this is one of those well-built rallies. Both teams grinding away right here. Williamson, she shot a missile across, but that's taken away. Roll shot there. Taylor diving. Let's see if Keogh can get it over. She can't. Lynchburg got 3 contacts, but unfortunately, Kaylee Keogh just not enough mustard on that one to force it back over the net. And that was a long rally that will go to LaGrange. Meredith Orton, number 1 for LaGrange, had key hand in a couple plays there on that rally.
You know, we see in a couple of these rallies, you know, I mean, I don't know what other schools' gyms are like, but I mean, when you come here to Turner Gymnasium, you have to keep into account that there's lights and rafts not too high up. So, I mean, the ball can hit off that, and you have to keep going. I mean, you can't just stop play if it hits the roof.
Yeah, that's something that coaches will talk about is knowing the ceiling is a big part about playing in your own gym, and then that lighting up there as well. The lighting can be different from gym to gym, and then the background too. You know, they say some gyms it's easier to pick up the spin on that serve. Looked like Tori Williamson didn't quite pick up the spin on that serve. You could see just kind of bothered a little bit, didn't quite sink the hips and get down in a great position to dig that one. But it's interesting for a sport that's indoors. You wouldn't think that the gym and the court would matter that much, but it does matter. Home court advantage, very real. There's a nice one in the middle from Leah DiNardo. She went off the block and out.
Yeah, you talk about home field advantage, and I don't think a lot of people who play sports, or definitely people who don't play sports, I don't think they understand how important that is to a team, especially when it's a code red game that we have. I mean, the atmosphere of home field advantage is just, I mean, nothing beats it.
Keogh to Taylor. Tori Williamson. Another forceful, heavy-handed shot. Williamson in on the block there, and that will lead to a point. Tori Williamson and Ava Meinhardt teaming up in front. We have seen that unit operate very effectively. In fact, the 3 up front right now, Williamson and Meinhardt, and then the freshman Jamie Smith, that's a really tall configuration for Lynchburg. They can make that work. Taylor is going to set Smith. She took a swipe, rejected. Clark had the cover. Flying in was Tori Williamson. Signal from the officials is Lynchburg point. In the net from LaGrange. Love Tori Williamson when she takes flight. I mean, she just kind of levitates through the air. It's impressive to watch.
Yeah, it's like watching her glide. And you're talking about, you know, our up front, you know, players. I mean, they're all heavy hitters, but that's not the only thing they can do. I mean, you really have to be on your toes if you're LaGrange or any other team that comes in here, because anything can really happen with, especially players like Tori Williamson. I mean, they can really do anything out here.
No block that time for Lynchburg. That was just a hitting error right into the net. But Lynchburg is getting closer in set 3. Right now, LaGrange 14, Lynchburg 11. We'll catch a 60-second breather here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Lynchburg.edu is a great destination to learn more about everything happening at the University of Lynchburg. You know, we're on LHSN. It's the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network, so we mainly talk about sports, but the university has so much great stuff going on the academic side. We would love for you to learn more about that. Slide play that's blocked away by Lynchburg. Blocking up front, really good. How about another one right on cue? That one was returned to sender. Let's see if they try it again. Nope, that ball is out. Lynchburg, man. So there's two up front there, Ethan, where you don't get statistical credit for a block because it didn't lead to a point. But the coaches are tracking the blocks differently. They're talking about positive block touches and those kinds of things. And that was two very good ones on that exchange for Lynchburg. There's another one right there. Return to sender. No point. Let's see if Lynchburg can do it again. LaGrange will try to tip over the block. Probably pretty smart based on what we've been seeing. LaGrange, a block party of their own. Whistles blow, and somebody, I think, touched the net. No 4 contacts for Lynchburg on that exchange. Coach Cardozo is just going to have a brief little chat with our official about that.
Yeah, you were talking about the blocking, and I feel like a lot of that goes into it is it's not just the physical blocking that goes into it. It's also the mental, blocking that goes into it. Because when you're looking at a player that's getting ready to kill a ball down, I mean, they have to worry about what's about to be in front of them, and that's two very tall players jumping up in front of you.
Yeah, you start making those attackers go to something different. They have to think about tipping more, trying to go around, go over the block, try to tool the block. But you're right, it affects the offense. And there's a good exchange again. Number 16, Haley Redden for LaGrange. Serving at the line right now, Julia D'Amico for the LaGrange Panthers. Tori Williamson flying in again. Boy, LaGrange's block has gotten stingy. I was talking quite a bit about Lynchburg's, but the Panthers are blocking well up front. They're really standing tall. And it's a big reason why they have a 5-point advantage here in set 3.
Yeah, this is definitely a set that you want to have coming back from losing the first 2.
Yeah, this could be momentum for LaGrange for sure. And that one goes into the net from Redden. Breaks a long run there. Lynchburg needed that. Here comes Jana Leak and Bree Spainauer joining the party, rejoining the party. Leak to serve.
Yeah, those are definitely the points that you want to build off of. A hit into the net or a serving error, that's definitely the easiest to build off of.
Take advantage of the other team's mistakes when you can. Jana Leak, fastball, but south of the strike zone, and it will be a service error. Back to a 5-point lead for LaGrange. They'll sub, and this is a new name for LaGrange. Number 5, Brittany Chavez, senior. Did not play against William Peace earlier. One of the few on the roster that didn't, but she's in there right now for the Panthers. Brittany Chavez, senior from Birmingham, Alabama. Trying to increase her team's cushion. It's 5 right now. Two-hander from Bree Spainauer to get that over. Big swing from Kakina, and that is tooled the block and outside into the scorer's table for a LaGrange point.
Yeah, definitely a frustrating sport since I've, started learning. I mean, you can do everything right and still lose a point, and that's frustrating because especially coming off of 4 years from playing baseball at the college level, it's all about the people that you have around you, and again, having people that can step up in depth. We've talked about depth all night. It's like a broken record. But I mean, that's really what it's all about in sports like this.
Deep roster for both teams. And it looks like both coaches not afraid to use it. LaGrange up 7. Lynchburg really needs something here if they want to continue hopes of finishing off the sweep. They might be forced to rally and go to set 4. Good back and forth exchange right here. Spainauer tried to go down the line, but that's out of play. And it's a 21-13 Panther lead in set 3. Remember, Lynchburg won sets 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely a risky play from Spainauer. It's one that if it works, it's fantastic. But again, if it doesn't, then you just kind of have to find a way where you can get a point a different way.
I'll call a ball handling error there on Ava Meinhardt. Kind of looked like she threw that one a little bit. We've seen that. Her hands are so good. She's got great touch. Sometimes for the referees, the hand just stays on there a little too long. Sometimes if it just looks like it wasn't a true hit, the officials are going to call it. And that's a tough one for Meinhardt. Lynchburg will get the point here. And it will be Tori Williamson serving. LaGrange 22, Lynchburg 14. Hornets lead 2-0, but they'll need a furious comeback here in set 3 to complete the sweep. Middle attack for Meinhardt. Better strike that time. She'll try to block solo. Clark got a piece of that one. Into the bench was Tori Williamson. Fantastic effort. She'll get back in the middle. She might have to make a play here. No, it went to Jana Leak. Leak couldn't hold on to that one, and now LaGrange is 2 away from staying alive tonight here. 23-14. Panthers in control in set 3.
That was a fantastic hustle play by Williamson.
Keogh. Leak, back set for Spainauer. Perfect touch right there. Found the floor for a much-needed point. Bree Spainauer should be kill number 8 for her tonight. It is. Just 2 errors for Bree Spainauer. So the hitting percentage is at 400 right now. Landon Spot swinging it at 500. 3 kills, no errors, 6 attacks. Spot's not out there right now, but she has impressed in a maybe not a true coming out party, but some great things from Landon Spots in this one. We'll see if she gets back in at some point. Leak diving. Meinhardt will clean that up. Free ball coming over from DiNardo. Well placed. Ooh, setter attack into the net. A lot happening right there. It was fun to watch for sure. Number 5, Brittany Chavez bouncing around. And you know what's fun here, Ethan, is you actually have 2 number 5s right now. No, it's number 6. Is that Isabella Zenikovic that's wearing the libero jersey? Yes. Chavez 5. Zenikovic will bump this one over. Touch from DiNardo. They thought it was down, but it's not. Play on. Thin pancake to get that one up for LaGrange. Spainauer with the soft touch two-hander to get over. Good swing from Kahakina. Leak takes a set. Middle. DiNardo. Oh, wide right and an out of play. It's another rally that it's back and forth. You really can't take your eyes off it. All 6 players for each team just flying around everywhere.
Yeah, definitely a tiring play from both sides. And for the team that wins the point, it's such a morale booster. And then for the team that loses, it can be demoralizing. You just got to find a way to not let that happen to your mentality.
Set point for LaGrange. Bree Spainauer. Return to sender. Lynchburg will rebuild. Kaylee Keogh on target in the deep corner to keep Lynchburg alive in set 3. 24-17. Termination number 8 for Kaylee Keogh. Shares the team lead right now with Bree Spainauer.
Yeah, definitely going to have to go on a long run here in order to stay in set 3. It can happen. Anything can happen. Can't rule anybody out.
Kara Taylor, there's an ace. The sophomore transfer from Ohio with a well-located serve. It seemed to take a nosedive as it got to the back row defenders. 24-18, Lynchburg down 6. Yep, and there's the end of set 3 as Taylor sent that one into the net. So no sweep tonight for Lynchburg. They'll try to get organized and rally and win set number 4. Lynchburg still leading 2-1. We'll step aside and catch our breath. LaGrange wins the third, 25-18. You saw it live on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature, you'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
A good fight back from the LaGrange Panthers in set 3. Extends the match. We've already seen 2 4-setters in the Hill City Classic here earlier in this gym. And this could be another 4-setter if Lynchburg wins. Now, both of these teams were on the losing end of 4-set affairs earlier against William Peace. Congratulations to the Pacers. They come into the gym here and get 2 wins, Ethan. That'll be a good trip back to Raleigh. I think they're actually staying in town to play at Randolph tomorrow. But it's been a nice afternoon and evening of volleyball so far. I still think Lynchburg should have full confidence, don't you? I mean, up 2-1.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going up 2 sets, you know, before the third set, going up 2 sets is definitely a huge morale booster. And, you know, just doing what you can to build off of that. I mean, even if LaGrange won the last set, I don't think they'll have any problem finding that third win.
And we'll see what the Panthers have to say about the final outcome in this one. And as we pointed out on Wednesday, you know, once you get to that 5th set, really all bets are off if you get there. I mean, who knows who has the advantage then. But we're not there yet. This is set 4. LaGrange, it's a must-win right now. Ava Meinhardt kind of got that ball put into her lap on the block attempt, and it falls down for an early point for the Panthers of LaGrange. It was a better set for them statistically. For Lynchburg, not a great set attacking-wise in set 3. Ethan, 9 kills, 9 errors, so the attack percentage is 0 there for Lynchburg. And they only had 1 ace in set 3, and that was a low for them there. So statistically, it was a much better set for LaGrange and a pretty good outcome, obviously, as Lynchburg looked like they were going to fight back at times in set 3, but for the most part, the Panthers controlled everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they did everything they needed to do in that last set, and I assume that in the huddle in between sets, they were saying, keep it going.
Right.
I mean, do whatever you can to do that you did in the last set. You know, just keep building off of it and get better.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach, you know, in all sports, I think you're trying to anticipate the other team's adjustments. But to your point, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I mean, keep doing what you're doing if you're LaGrange. We've seen them go deep into their bench as well and try the different combinations here. This is Bree Spainhour, yeah, climbing the ladder and throwing it down. Very nice from Spainhour. Again, her athleticism, she can get so high and really has that hammer type of action on her hits. Some attackers, it's a true arm swing like you would throw a baseball. Bree Spainhour, it's more of just a piston-like hammer straight down on that thing.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch different sports. I mean, knowing I wouldn't be able to do any of this because not only am I short, but I just know that I wouldn't be able to hit it as hard as they can because they've been doing this their entire lives. I mean, we were talking about this before the game when we were, you know, you were explaining to me about golf. You know, it's these people who have been playing in the pros and even in college sports, they've been doing it their entire life. So all this that we're seeing out here, you know, they're doing it and it looks easy to them, but it's so hard for the average human being to be able to do this.
Yeah, the athleticism is so unique and fascinating, and part of the reason why this game is so much fun to watch. Leah DiNardo with a solo block for a point, eyeball to eyeball on the net right there. Freshman continues to impress. Here's a sophomore transfer, Kara Taylor. First set she has played this year, but she has played a healthy amount in both matches today. Pushed across by Kaylee Keough in a tie ball game. That one over the block. Nice spatula up by Morgan Clark to get on the floor and slide under it. This is the best rally so far. That one off the block and out to give LaGrange the 1-point advantage again. That was our best rally of this set anyway. We've seen some good ones in this match, but back to just you can't take your eyes off the action. You never know who's flying where, and you never know how the point will end. Clark takes the first one. Kaylee Keough got in rhythm and took a good swipe at that. Let's see if they set her again. They will. Repeat, take 2, same result. LaGrange is there. Now the Panthers will attack. Taylor to Clark, spots, cross court, kept alive. Panthers turn. That hit the antenna there, so Lynchburg will get the point. We should be tied up 4-4.
Yeah, another good rally by both these teams. I mean, everybody here in the gymnasium and everybody watching right now is being gifted with a fantastic fourth set from both teams.
I love the confidence, and those long rallies take confidence, Ethan, because the pressure does build on the player as the rally goes longer and longer. They certainly feel it. You don't want to be the one that makes the mistake on that long rally like that. You don't want your other 5 teammates' work to go to waste. So you do get more tense as those rallies go on, but I think the fact that we're seeing more of them means these teams are playing without tension and playing relatively pressure-free. Pressure was a big talking point Wednesday. Nice run down by Kaylee Keough, kept alive. Ooh, little quick attack on one right there. Leah DiNardo will push over. This is another one of these great rallies. Seeing a bit of everything. Taylor slides under that. Clark will bump set outside. Tori Williamson got a nice handful. Everything you want right here, including a Lynchburg block to finish it. That might have been the point of the evening right there, Ethan. That was a blast.
Yeah, when we talk about these long rallies, I feel like one of the most important things is keeping your mental toughness. I mean, both these teams have been looking fantastic in this fourth set. They've been giving us, you know, amazing points. Lynchburg's up 2, and I mean, it's fantastic to be able to watch that because I mean, those are long sets, and it's tiring out there.
DiNardo takes care of an overpass, having a little bit of a laugh about it. I think she mishit it slightly, and she went to the teammates Said, don't give me a hard time about the miss hit. We got the point. Leave me alone. At least that's what I read from the body language anyway. 7-4. Lynchburg by 3. Little punch kept alive by Spots. They'll go cross court. Tori Williamson, nice job to adjust to that. This is in the rafters, but LaGrange has a chance to keep it alive. In fact, they got a good swing. Lynchburg block was there, but they couldn't keep it between the lines. Yeah, the activity and the action in this fourth set is this has been the cream of the crop so far. Not that sets 1 through 3 were uninteresting, Ethan, but this has got our full attention here.
Yeah, I know. I know we've only had 12 points so far in this set, but I mean, it looks like it's going to come down to the nitty-gritty, and I feel like that's what everybody kind of wants to see right now. You know, everybody loves a blowout, but you know, me being a sports fan, I honestly love watching a close game more than a blowout.
Gotta love the freshman Leah DiNardo, sky high and absolutely belt one. DiNardo, impressive. Lynchburg up 3. Morgan Clark's going to get a fresh ball to serve with. Usually you get 3 or 4 balls that kind of rotate around. We got some guys from the golf team helping out, and occasionally you'll have another ball at the scorer's table if one goes out over there. Here's another furious rally. I mean, come on. There's more skin on the floor in this fourth set than we've seen throughout the day. LaGrange will get the better of that rally.
Yeah, I think hearing the leg scraping against the floor and hearing it like squeak, it definitely makes you wonder how much that hurts.
And the knee pads have gotten smaller over the years. They used to be kind of big if you look at the clips from the 80s and the 90s, but now it's really just a little thin cover of the knee. Nice soft touch up front. Ava Meinhardt, welcome back to the party. Ava points there. Here comes Jana Leak and Bree Spainauer off the bench in the game. Lynchburg by 3, 9-6.
You talk about the knee guards and how, you know, the game is evolving. You know, that's something that we learned here when I was in sport management. We learned about how all these different types of sports just grow and evolve throughout the years.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, sometimes when you're old school, you don't like the changes. You fear change. I guess that's human nature. But I love the sport the way it is now. Bree Spainauer, did she keep it in? They're going to say no. Very close there, though, because number 6, Isabella Zenkovic, libero, seemed to go for that ball. I guess you could make the argument that it hit the floor before it hit her, so therefore it would be out. 9-7. Lynchburg by 2. Clark handles that one. Spainauer will two-hand it over. Over the block, but over the court for a Lynchburg point.
You know, something interesting that I've, seen this entire game is that we haven't really seen much Abby Barlow today, or this game at least.
You're right. Yeah, Barlow has played one set in match number 2. Played quite a bit against William Peace earlier. And back to those rotations. It could just be Coach Cardoza trying things. Another long-ish rally developing right here. Kaylee Keough found the line, and she's just got great court vision. And you have to remember, Ethan, that you're having to see most of that out of the corner of the eye, using the peripherals while you track the ball coming in. You can turn the head a little bit. You can have the head on the swivel like you can in football. But Kaylee Keough just so good at knowing where the chess pieces are on the board. Morgan Clark has that. Leak wants to set Keough. Oh, yeah. That was the A cut right there. I think Kaylee Keough got her A+ swing off on that one.
Yeah, she definitely knew it, too. And, I mean, going back to, knowing where everything is, you also have to know where you are on the court because, I mean, a ball can go out on any hit, and you have to know where you are and where that ball is going, and you have to make the decision if it's going to stay in or out.
Really good approach on the run-up that time from Kaylee Keough as well. Footwork was perfect. They want to go there again. This one she has to adjust to, but it's going to work. Partially tipped and then sent out of play. Kaylee Keough might be heating up. Let's talk about sets real quick. We do have a timeout. Lynchburg leading 13-7 in set 4. They lead 2-1. But we'll stay here. You know what's fascinating about the sets is the higher the set, the more time she's got to run up and read it, but the more time the defense has to get the block over and cover the scoring avenues. So there's the rub there. Sometimes you want to attack quickly with a shorter set, a lower set. Sometimes you want that high lofted, high arcing ball. Different schools of thought there, and I think Lynchburg is is doing a nice job of utilizing all the different ways to attack. We've seen the middles get involved. That's DiNardo and Ava Meinhardt. And then obviously the pin hitters, Bree Spainhour, Kaylee Keough, Tori Williamson. They're doing just fine as well.
Yeah, I think a type of set that I enjoy watching, and we don't really see Lynchburg do it too much, but I know William Peace and Randolph-Macon definitely did it the other day, is a quick set and a quick kill, right? It's more towards the middle, and it's not, obviously it's not so high, and it catches the other team off guard every once in a while, but it's just, there's so many different things that you can do in this game. I mean, it's not just, set is a very small word for it.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different types of sets, there's so many different types of kills.
Yeah.
There's so many different aspects that go into this game, and it's fascinating.
It is, and it's, the part I love about it is you may have a plan when the play starts, but then based on where the pass is, where the set is, there's all these different factors you have to adjust. You have to audible at the line of scrimmage, and then you have to do it over and over again on those long rallies. There's a strong serve there that LaGrange did well to keep alive. Jana Leak has to tip set to Ava Meinhardt, so there's another one for us. Double block up front from Lynchburg. That hit the antenna, and the Hornets will get the point. Now they are doubling up LaGrange and really in command. 14-7. Another good exchange. I mean, back and forth. Both teams are having chances. Both teams are taking chances. And it really is a delight to watch right now. Tori Williamson serving. She'll gallop into one, fire the fastball over the net. Made it tough on LaGrange. Now Lynchburg's going to get in system. Watch out, flight 17. Stuffed up front. Nice block. The high set again. They get to set up the block. Bree Spainhour powers through. Pushed across. Leak will attack. Look at this. A play kept alive. This one's got everything. They'll try the middle with Ava Meinhardt. Got her own cover. Another set for Kaylee Keough. It's still alive. Play on. Hold your nerve right here if you're both teams. Bree Spainhour tries to go to the back line. Not there. Setter dump. Morgan Clark has it. Tipped across. What a rally right here. Oh, and it's down. Zentrina Choice finally puts a period or perhaps an exclamation point on what was the rally of the night right there.
Yeah, that's beautiful volleyball being played there by both teams. And Lynchburg, yeah, they lost the point, but I mean, I see fans down here that are there. I mean, they're all clapping. They're all saying, I mean, that was just phenomenal gameplay right there.
You said it. I mean, the fitness gets tested right there. I mean, for the broadcasters, not just for the players. I got to catch my breath. Great serve right there. LaGrange might be building some momentum as they claw closer and try to extend this to 5 sets. Cassie Blackmore in for Lynchburg. In the back row, it's Blackmore, Clark, Keough. Clark, the libero, will take that one. They'll set number 17. Tip. Yes, Lynchburg point. 15-9 Hornets with a nice one there. Morgan Clark out, Leah DiNardo in.
You know, you're talking about the broadcasters and how it's tiring for them too. I got Jonathan right here next to me. I mean, it's hard work moving the camera. I mean, you got to follow the ball. You got to know where the players are. There's so much that you have to do up here too.
That Jonathan Faust, though, his athleticism second to none. So we know that he can take it. We might get Jonathan Faust to put on a little dunk show for us after the game. We love Faust. You need to watch him on the basketball court this year if you can, fans. 15-10, Lynchburg by 5. And the rest of the crew ain't bad. I shouldn't give Faust all the credit, right? We don't want his ego to be too big. He might want more money, too. Nice shot in the middle by Leah DiNardo, the freshman from Virginia Beach, having fun out there. Good little celly. That's the other beautiful thing about this game is you get a chance to celebrate after every play, if you want to, if you choose to celebrate. Some players are more mild-mannered, more reserved.
Yeah, I mean, after every single point, the teams go together, and I mean, they're always high-spirited, and it doesn't even matter if you win it or you lose it. They're always helping each other out, and they're always hyped for the next play.
Nice dig by Taylor. Keough hanging, roll shot. A chance to rebuild. Spots away from the net, but down. Yeah, the Landon Spots coming out party continues. Don't know if she got all of it, but it was certainly well placed. It gives Lynchburg a 7-point lead.
She'll probably tell you that it was on purpose, whether it was or not. I mean, I'll say it was on purpose. I'm just going to say that she was taking advantage of where the defense wasn't.
Landon Spots, 9 kills in 9 sets played last year. Got to look at the totals for today, but she might be up over 9 kills in the match. And certainly between the 2 matches, Spots had to doink that one across. This is close. Overpass. What's the call? What's the call? And it's in the net for Lynchburg, and LaGrange will take the point.
Yeah, with all these, I mean, these 2 players on the court with Landon and Kara, I mean, we're definitely seeing some career highs right now.
Spots has 4 kills in this match. In the match against William Peace, Landon Spots had 4 kills. So she's got 8 on the day. Oh, Kaylee Keogh. Did that find the bullseye? No, must have just missed. Like the idea, though. Good thought process. Go down that line.
Almost found another referee there.
Yeah, who knew that the line judges and the referees would be in harm's way so much. But when Kaylee Keogh is swinging it well, everybody better watch out. Everybody's on notice. DiNardo didn't need the fastball. The changeup working nicely to get Lynchburg point number 18. Hornets by 6. Looking to close it out in style, trying to put a cherry on top right here and get a victory.
Yeah, that's just an example of how you don't have to hit it as hard as you can every time.
Kaylee Keogh's got a dozen terminations in this one. She leads Lynchburg. Bree Spainhour, 9 kills. DiNardo trying to add another to her total. The overpass taken. LaGrange did well to keep it alive as long as they could, but it ends up going the Hornets' way again, and it feels like that sequence there, the last 4 or 5 plays, might have broken the LaGrange spirit a little bit. Not easy to do because they have been very spirited in this one. I think they see the writing on the wall right now. Middle attack coming, wide left, point for Lynchburg. Yeah, it's all going the Hornets' way at the moment, Ethan.
Yeah, they're kind of running away with it, and I don't see LaGrange folding over, obviously. I mean, that's not the type of team that we've seen in the last 8 sets here, but I mean, Lynchburg doing everything that they need to do, especially after losing a 3rd set and getting the sweep taken away from you.
Keeping it here and discussing the Lynchburg schedule one more time, but maybe not the final time. Hornets women's volleyball takes on Greensboro tomorrow at 11 a.m. and then North Carolina Wesleyan at 1 p.m. tomorrow, or basically about 30 minutes after the first one finishes, we'll say. Ethan, we've got some field hockey on campus tomorrow. Field hockey's on the road, but we've got some women's soccer on campus tomorrow. You're going to be here with volleyball, is that right? You're going to be doing both? What are you going to be doing tomorrow?
I believe I'm doing the first game of the volleyball tomorrow, but I think I'm directing it, and then I'm going to be calling the women's soccer game with Evan.
That's fantastic. You guys are going to have fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably get to see some excitement. LynchburgSports.com is the website. Stay up to date. And, you know, of course, big things happening in the sports world. We've got men's volleyball now. Starting up in December, we're going to have some men's volleyball. I think the first home game for Ryan Turner and his brand new squad will actually be in January, but we're thrilled about that. You and I can get together and use our experience there. Few little slight rules differences in the men's game that we'll have to learn, Ethan. The net is a little bit higher, but for the most part, it'll be easy for us to get, and we'll have to learn a whole new host of names. Ryan Turner brought in an outstanding freshman class. Thinks they're going to be very competitive, and that will be a blast. And of course, we'll have men's and women's basketball. So winter sports season going to be busy in here in Turner. I mean, you'll have to fight to get court time in here now with men's volleyball added to the mix.
Yeah, it's always amazing to get a new sport here. I mean, we had a couple of years ago we had beach volleyball get brought in, and I know Athletic Director John Waters was ecstatic that he got that around here. And it's nice having more sports to watch. You know, There's less dead time around here at school.
And the next new sport added will be men's wrestling, coming soon. Details are being unveiled as we speak, but we'll have a Lynchburg wrestling team again. Hornets 5 away, 1st to 20 again for Lynchburg. And that one will go the Hornets' way, 21-13. Ava Meinhardt checking back in for Lynchburg. She'll occupy the middle. Landon Spots, Tori Williamson up front. Morgan Clark serving. She'll have Kara Taylor as the setter with her, and the all-around dynamo, Kaylee Keough, in the back row. Let's see how much fight LaGrange has left. What a dig by Clark, but just a bit wayward. Landon Spots efforted for the ball, but couldn't get there.
Yeah, I love watching that from Lynchburg. I mean, they always give their all on every single play. I mean, with Landon right there, I mean, she was really close to the pole there on the side of the net, and so it's good to see from your coaching staff that your players are willing to give you their all.
One hand from Taylor went over her head. Tori Williamson got it on the LaGrange side, and then the Panthers will shoot and score. Caitlin Gilchrist. 21-15. Mentioned LaGrange is on the road. I believe they're going over to Randolph tomorrow as well. Good placement on that one.
They doing a Randolph Classic over there?
Well, it's all kind of tied in with the Hill City Classic, but it is Lynchburg's event. But I think with how travel works in these sports, LaGrange driving 8 hours up here, makes sense to stay in town and get some extra games against our friends over at Randolph. Tori Williamson pounding one to the floor.
Yeah, driving 8 hours up north and then saying, I mean, if they had to play Randolph later on in the season, driving 8 hours up here at the beginning of the season, knowing you're going to have to come up here eventually if that were the case. Now, obviously it's not, so I mean, it's very convenient for them.
23-15, Lynchburg within 2. 2 points away from securing what would be win number 5 of the season. How about it, Bree Spainhour? She'll take another one. And now Lynchburg is 1 point away.
I think this is one of the best parts about any sport is when you're so close to winning, you want to be that player that seals it for your team.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Nice little feather in the cap to say you ended the game. Let's see who can do it here. Shayna Leak, nice job to lay out and get the spatula under that one. Tori Williamson going to try to end it. Blocked. Lynchburg will rebuild. Bree Spainhour, not there. Oh, but that will end it, though. An error on the setter dump attempt will close the evening, and it is a Lynchburg win. They take set 4, 25-15. Lynchburg pretty convincing and comprehensive in sets 1, 2, and 4 to get win number 5 of the season. Congratulations to Coach Cardoza and his wonderful staff. The Hornets are now 500, and they'll put that record to the test again tomorrow. Ethan, what a night, man. Final thoughts. This was a long day of volleyball. We learned a lot about Lynchburg. We learned there's still things they got to work on. We knew that, but we learned, I think, and identified a few specifics. But we saw some great things from the Hornets as well, and I think they can continue this trend. 2 tough squads from the USA South tomorrow. But final thoughts from you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It was a very long day of volleyball. I don't think any of us are complaining, though. There were 3 amazing games. We're going to have more games tomorrow. Definitely tiring for the players. There's definitely a few kinks that they need to figure out, but there's definitely some things that they figured out today. I mean, I definitely think they found 2 huge players that they can bring in now whenever they need it in Landon Spots and Kara. I mean, it's nice to figure something like that, or figure something out like that as a coach.
And it also lets the other players know, hey, we've got other weapons. I've got to continue to work. I've got to work for myself. I've got to work for the team as well. That's the thing. We talk about the team concept, but the individual stuff matters as well. And when you get better, the team gets better, and we're seeing that from Lynchburg right now. Nice bounce back. It does break a 4-match losing streak. And the statistics will all be available online. We encourage you to check that out, lynchburgsports.com. And, of course, all the social media. Big thank you to the LHSN team today. They put in a lot of hard hours, and we're going to start getting things ready for tomorrow. We will be on for Lynchburg volleyball, 11 a.m. first serve between Lynchburg and Greensboro, and it will be game 1 of 2, North Carolina Wesleyan in the second matchup. So Kyle Haney saying so long for my pal Ethan Maratsky and Evan Gates earlier. We appreciate you tuning in, and we'll do it again very soon tomorrow right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.